So I'm coming in, I'm screaming probably 55 miles an hour. I'm either going to rear end this truck in front of me and we all die, or I swerved hard left, skid on the barrier, and like spun the car out.
So I'm here with Sam Carter, and this guy is a beast. I've known Sam since probably middle school, high school, and this could have been a lot different podcasts because we could have been Kai Cenat and we could have been Twitch streamers.
Oh, we could have been Ninja.
We could have been Ninja.
That would have been
we
us.
could have been Tyler Ninja Blevins at this point. But we're not. And the reason that we're not is because Sam crashed his car and he started a business and he ruined it for us.
Dude. Yeah, it's kind of crazy. I mean, kind of a little bit of background. My name is Sam. I own and operate Heritage Fleet with my wife and another partner. Heritage Fleet is like a classic car rental business specifically targeting weddings within Utah. We're the only business in the state that lets you actually drive the car further than just off the property or even at all. And we do it at about 1/3 of the price of our competitors, which is pretty fun. But the whole business started as kind of a crazy idea. Last summer, I bought a 1960 Ford Galaxie. It's like a four-door family sedan. It was spray painted turquoise. Ugliest piece of shit you've ever seen in your life. Horrible car. But it was awesome. It was pretty. It was fun. We took it to the rodeo. Definitely died on us a few times. But we were working on it. And we kind of loved the car. Sort of fell in love with the idea of old cars and wanting to drive them around. And as time went on, we were sort of toying with the idea of like, oh, hey, maybe someone's going to want to rent this car. Maybe it's kind of a thing we're doing, but we're broke college students, whatever. It was kind of in the back of our mind. And then the opportunity came by actually crashing the car. So this 1960 Ford Galaxie car that I had, I was in the car total for $2,200. I bought the car from a gay, ex-Mormon, Republican, Jewish guy who was awesome.
Wow.
Love Ashton. Still a good homie of mine to this day. But he sold us the car because he loved kind of our story that I was going to use it at our wedding. He actually came to the wedding. It was awesome.
No way.
And we were taking the car to the bachelor party. I was on my way driving up north. We played some golf, and then we were going out west to Wendover. The only place in reach of Utah to go have a good time with a bachelor party. And a huge freak storm came in. And we were on like a 1-lane freeway, and the whole freeway just came to a halt out of nowhere. And when you're in a car that's from the 60s with drum brakes and it weighs 5 times more than the average car, it doesn't stop very fast. So I'm coming in, I'm screaming probably 55 miles an hour. I'm either going to rear end this truck in front of me and we all die, or I swerved hard left, skid on the barrier, and like spun the car out. We didn't hit anyone. No one was hurt, which is crazy.
That's ridiculous.
Like the most ridiculous part, no one was hurt. But it was a blessing in disguise because insurance paid us out almost 15 grand for this car that I had barely any money in.
Wow.
And we parlayed all of that money into a classic car rental business.
I love the parlay. That is awesome. What were your initial kind of like feelings when you crashed the car? Were you like just, oh shit, or what?
Dude, it was definitely it was the first time I've ever like actually crashed a vehicle. I'm a very good driver. I've never, I've prevented multiple accidents on multiple occasions, but first of all, I was just stoked that we're alive. I mean, that's kind of like the general story I think people say. My business partner who I now own the business with, he was sitting shotgun with me. And he, to this day, still has a little bit of a vendetta against me for the fact that I crashed the car and that it happened.
Yeah.
But yeah, initial reactions were just, we were super happy. I was actually really happy to be alive, but then come after the fact, I was sad because I was like, oh, insurance is going to look at this junker car that's missing half of the trim.
Yeah.
And they're going to give us like $500 and a pat on the back and say, you're lucky to be alive. Call it a day. And like 2 months went by. I was trying to sell the car on Facebook for like $1,000 in its wrecked state. And then eventually I called the insurance. I was like, okay, well, what would the claim come out to? It took like 3 months to get back to me to even find any comparables in the US. And it was like, we had the worst one there even was, and they paid us half of what the last market price was.
That's awesome. Shout out insurance. This is like the one time I've heard them be a good guy in a story.
Never. Yeah, never again.
Yeah, never. This is your one. You got one, and now it's done forever. Your bad claims. Okay. Exactly. Well, that's awesome. I mean, I know about 25, obviously, but I want to hear about 26.
our $50 of revenue total for
Well, I mean,
25.
I did your tax. I did your tax accounting. So I want to hear about 26 because that's going to be the most interesting thing. Because I mean, when did you? I guess you really started because I started my business in August, but it's like, well, we didn't really start until March this year. So, like, when was that start of the busy season? I guess for you, was it around the same time? Maybe April, May?
Well, we kind of thought busy season was just kind of kick off when we kicked off. And so we did our first event like January 20th. And we're like, we're going to go huge. We went to like oh gosh, please forgive me. The wedding people will know. I can't remember if it's Pritchett Bridal. It's like a very, very bougie wedding brand here in Utah. My wife knows the name. I don't. I'm the car guy and the logistics guy. Whatever. But we went to their event and it was like we thought it'd be huge. We thought we'd get like 10 bookings. We thought we'd like hit the home run, and we didn't get anything from it. It was like, shoot. Well, we got rent due. We got insurance due. Well, we hadn't
Yeah.
even figured insurance out at that point. All of our cars are uninsured.
Mhm.
Like we're driving recklessly. And it was kind of a rough start, but we sort of got the ball moving a little bit. We got like a couple of our close friends to book for like, okay, we'll do like $100, we'll do $75, like cover the gas, whatever. I'm already going to your wedding. I'll just drive in the car and you can like go around the corner and then I'll drive home, like just trying to make it work. But it seriously picked up. So I think 2025 our revenue was $50. This year we were hoping to do like 20, 25K for all of 2026, which is again not a crazy number. I don't think this is retire my family, whatever. It's just to kind of the main goal was to have a business that just propagates itself, pays for itself, and can eventually purchase more classic cars. Because the main investment thesis was, okay, if we start this now while we have all this time and we get it automated, 25 years from now when it has 15 well-maintained, pretty good-looking classic cars that are much harder to find 25 years from now than they are today, then we'll probably have $250,000, $500,000, maybe $750,000 in assets that we can just sell off and be done with the business. Yep. And so the main goal was to just kind of get there, which I can talk more about our car purchasing stuff later, which has been very rigorous. But we wanted to do like 20,000 by the end of the year. That would cover our initial like insurance and rent, which our run rate is like $800 a month for both of those. So it's not like that's a pretty freaking good pace of where we're at for everything. And then just kind of labor to get all of the cars put together, gas to get them delivered. We bought a trailer. We just bought a work truck last week. Kind of basically get the fundamentals in place. But we're on a much better track than that. So we wanted to do 20,000 by the end of this year. We're probably on track to do 30 to 40. It's honestly picked up a lot more than I thought it would. Kind of specifically the month of June. Historically, we've been doing about 1,200, 1,500, 2,000 a month, whatever. June was crazy. June was like twice as much as every other month we had done combined.
Yeah. That's awesome, dude.
It was phenomenal. It was a great month. And I think that, it's just like a lot of brides are getting their cars in place for the rest of summer. And we were kind of hitting off well on like the photography front. The Instagram page was popping off. We went from 0 to 500 followers in like 5 months, which I'm sure starting a local brand.
Oh yeah,
that's not an easy task because, and a lot of our customers too, it's like it's a one and done thing. So there's no incentive to like really follow a car rental page. It's not that interesting. But those 500 people are now venues, photographers, wedding planners, people that are in the industry. And so it's kind of really ramped up from there. And between that and maxing out our SEO type stuff with like we now, like if you ask ChatGPT, blah, 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 half the time will show up, half the time not, mostly depending on where you physically are. It's great. Like we used to have to go fight for every single booking and offer a huge discount or whatever. And our base price used to be like $200 and now we've pushed it up to $350 just because we have enough volume that we can do that. It's changed substantially. We probably went from only getting 1 to 2 leads a week to 2 to 3 leads a day of people reaching out to us asking, what cars do you have this day? What are your pricing? Blah,
Yeah.
blah, 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 blah. And so for me, that's kind of a win in a sense of like, okay, this was just like a hobby business that I just wanted to have an excuse to have cool cars and like maybe it would work, maybe not. To like now it's like, oh, I'm seeing that this is genuinely going to be very sustainable and will actually continue all the way through. And so we're pretty hopeful. I think the end of this year we'll land again 30 to 40K. And I think next year, now that we're established, we have our pricing, we have our relationships, we have our Instagram and everything. I wouldn't be surprised if we crossed the $50,000 mark, which again, very small. Like I'm playing on the T-ball field of business here. Like it's nothing crazy, but in terms of something that I put 10 to 12 hours a week into and can kind
Yeah.
of just forget about in a year and a half, then it'll be fine.
Yeah, dude, that's really sweet. Any like advertising stuff that you've been doing through like Facebook ads or Google ads?
Oh my gosh, you'll laugh. So probably one third of our bookings comes from just posting our cars on Facebook Marketplace, which is the funniest thing ever. Like,
Really?
yeah, not like an ad, but just putting a picture of our car on Marketplace, and people are like, "Can we rent it for our wedding?" And then we're like, "Yes, go to our website." And then like they book from there,
Dude,
which is just so random. But it's
that is
like
so random.
we used to have me, my wife, and my business partner all post. I got banned because you're not allowed to rent vehicles on Marketplace. My partner got banned, but my wife, for some reason, hers just like magically stayed and gets like probably 2 hits a day, which is awesome.
Shout out Melanie getting it done.
Woo! But no, we tried like one paid ad and it went nowhere pretty much. We got one booking from it in Colorado. So random. I don't know how that happened, but we threw out like a ridiculously high quote and he was like, "Sure, let's do it." And we're like, "Okay, that's neat."
Yeah.
And then other than that, our biggest win for advertising was doing this. So I don't know how much you know about the wedding world. I assume you don't know anything. But in the photography world, they do these things called styled shoots. So it's basically like staging a wedding to get portfolio photos for people. And generally, like if someone organizes a shoot, if you're a photographer and you want to go to that shoot and bulk out your portfolio with stuff, you're going to pay somewhere between 150 to like $3,000. It varies a ton in terms of like what they're going to pay. Like we did a booking at the Salt Flats where they booked our car. They had 11 photographers out there from across the country that had all paid 3 grand to come shoot at the Salt Flats that day.
Jeez.
Blew my mind. I didn't know there were people milking the cow like this,
Yeah, that's ridiculous.
But I was like, okay, so this all these brands get this ton of photographs. Okay, so what do we have? We have cool cars. There are not a lot of people that have cool cars, and every photographer wants to shoot cool cars. Even as a no-name business, the best way we can get ourselves out there, we started doing these freestyled shoots. So you as a photographer would come, bring any model you like. So you want to fix a relationship, you want to do a paid gig, great, whatever. We're going to go put all 4 of our cars in one location. That's a beautiful location, and you can shoot on all of the cars. All we ask is that you collaborate with us on the post.
Yeah.
So then we're getting these photographers with 10,000 followers, 40,000 followers, 30,000 followers, whatever. They're showing up stoked to get a free shoot on classic cars. And we're getting like, I'm sure you have like an Instagram business profile. Like you see like how many insights you have or like how many people see your page. We went from like 2,500, 5K, 5,500 to like average in a month is like 75K to 100K impressions from our page
That's crazy.
in like a very short window.
Yeah.
And so that was like a huge success. And then people, they book their photographer and then they look at their photographer's portfolio. Oh, these cars were cool. Where did you get this car? Oh, Heritage Fleet. They've got this sweet car rental thing. You can actually drive all of the cars. Like,
Yeah.
and then leads have just started pumping in very organically like that, which has been awesome.
That's sweet. That's great. That's exciting, dude, to see the business grow like that. And I don't know, what was that feeling like, I guess this last month when you were like, oh man, like this is picking up.
We were stoked. We bought a truck.
Yeah.
We've been using my Tacoma. Tacomas are not built to haul a freaking car. But we were using my Tacoma this whole time, and we finally like, okay, we're gonna buy a truck to tow all of the cars. And we didn't buy a nice truck. Well, we did. We bought a 1991 Ford F-150 that's like, it's like beige or like tan. and it has like the metal service bed, which
Yeah.
think in your head like, okay, electrical guy working on a power line,
Sure.
that type of like truck bed that has all the doors on it. And it was used by a school district for like 30 years, never left the property, indoor kept. It's like immaculate
Nice.
condition. Thought it fit the vibe well, like a classic car, towing in all the classic cars.
Yeah.
And it was just like, okay, we have enough money to actually buy a truck, which was just awesome. You know, check one thing off the list at least for the next 3 to 5 years, and then next up, we'll probably either expand our location or expand our vehicles. We're thinking about getting a Vespa, which we
Okay.
didn't think we'd have any cash left to get anything for the next year or two.
Yeah.
You know,
It's a
it's
good spot to
always,
be in. I'm excited to see that truck on your balance sheet. You know, that's the kind of things that excite me. So
oh, it's already fully depreciated, brother.
how much you get that thing for?
We paid $3,100 for it,
Cool.
but it's in stellar condition. It's only had like two owners ever. I think I can send you some photos. I'll send you photos of all the cars we've talked
Yeah,
about
no,
too.
that would be great. I'd love to throw them up. Just like, I guess, list them off and then I'll put them up on the screen.
Yeah. I mean, there's the truck we just bought, 1991 Ford. I think it's an F-150. I don't know a ton about it. I've only seen the car once. The rest of my team went and bought it. We have the 1980 Fiat Spider, the cream colored one, which I think you and your wife drove around, right? You put
Yep.
your stereo in. Thought it was
Mhm.
awesome. That's been our most popular car by far, by the way, if that's of interest to you. We have the 1982 Mercedes 380 SL that I used at my wedding, talked about earlier. And then my personal favorite is the 1959 Mercedes Ponton, which only has a few hundred left in the US even registered. So it's a very rare car. We actually just won a car show with it a few weeks ago. It's a very unique looking vehicle, and it's not something you see on the road every day for
Is
sure.
that the super long one?
They're all pretty long.
It's got like the fake, I don't even know what you would call it, but like there, it's got this tubing on the sides that's like just strictly cosmetic.
That's the 1929 Mercedes. That was the last car I haven't talked about.
Oh,
There's
okay.
the 19. Sorry, I think I misphrased it. But yeah, there's the 1929 Mercedes Gazelle too, which is yeah. When that car was made, those tubes weren't fake, but it's a rebuild. It's a replica car that was made in the 70s and it has a Ford Pinto engine in it. Which, if you know anything about a Pinto, but it's an automatic transmission, so anyone can drive it, and it's pretty fun. And so
That
that
was me and my
car,
wife's favorite.
yeah. Oh, it's the most rickety, and it feels like a go kart while you're
Oh
driving
yeah,
it the whole time. But people love that thing. It just is so weird and
just
alien
different,
looking. Yeah.
just different.
So, but yeah, they're all fun cars, and like our the thing that I think I'm the most proud of in terms of all of our stuff that we've done has just been the purchases we've made. So our one competitor, they operate on like a consignment type thing, so like they don't actually own any of the cars that they have. They just curate relationships with people that have classic cars.
Yeah.
So as a result, they have to be a really really careful, which we're careful with our cars, but like they don't allow salt flat bookings because the salt just will ruin so much.
Wow.
But we can do bookings on the salt flat because it's like I'm the homie that's going to be power washing it when the booking's over. Like I
Yeah.
know I can take care of it. They don't allow anyone to do like shots leaning against the car, sitting on the edge of the car, like
Wow.
you can't stand on the seats. And it's like because we've bought cars so meticulously, which I'll get into in a second, it allows us to be not reckless, but more accommodating with how people can use our cars. Like we've had a stiletto go through the leather on one of our cars, and like stuff happens, but it's okay because we actually own the cars. And the biggest thing is we've bought our cars at such good prices. So I think the biggest win.
You lowballing people on Facebook Marketplace or?
Well, we've bought all of our cars from Marketplace, but they've always been in really weird situations. So the very first car we bought, the 380 SL, I took at my wedding. That was like it was from like basically an estate sale. The son, his mom's mom was in Arizona, the only owner of the car. It was a grandma's little get around car for 40 freaking years. And then she died and it sat in the garage for 7 years. And he drove it up to Utah and was like, I need to get rid of this car so I can give my grandpa the money to live. Sold it to us. We were like The first ones there had been listed for like an hour. Um, the second car we bought, the Ponton, had been listed for 18 hours when we went and saw it. It was non-running. Looked like crap in the engine bay. The interior looked good-ish, full of rat droppings,
Oh,
full of rat nests. Like, had seen some better days, but like the actual leather was really in good condition. Other than that, car had no response, no start, nothing. That car is normally worth like 25 grand. We got it for 7, put in probably 4,000 to get it up and running, and she's great now. Like, runs super good. We put a brand new exhaust on her. And so like if we had to go and flip that car, it's probably worth, almost double what we have into it. And the
are you
first
gonna
car,
get into that next? Start flipping these things?
oh, it's such a mess to try and flip these cars. But the first car even that I bought for like 5 grand, that's probably worth like 10, maybe 11. The next car we bought was a Fiat Spider. This is the most we paid for a car. We paid just under 8,000 for it. And it's been our most popular car. It was like it was listed for like 10. But we got a really good deal on it because it's a guy who lives 5 minutes down the road. It was actually his wife. The husband, it was like his pride and joy little project car. He took meticulous care of it. Everything in it works. It's not cosmetically perfect, but the engine is super smooth, shifts super smooth, brakes all work. Like, everything is perfect on it mechanically. And they wanted a lot of money for it. And I said, hey, like, I realize you're really only getting rid of this car because you don't have the person that takes care of it anymore. I live here. I went to school, 2 minutes from your house. We're gonna keep this car here locally. Like, what I can promise you is that if you ever need to use this car again, I will give it to you. No questions asked, no charge. Take it to the family reunion, take it to the wedding.
This guy
Let your
knows
mother
business right
come.
here.
Right. And they were like, okay, great, whatever. Didn't hear from them for like 2 months. And like a month ago, they text me like, hey, my brother's getting married. It was, his uncle's car. Like, can we borrow it? And I was like, absolutely. And they got to use the car. And so it's like, we've been able to get that car at a cheaper price. And if we ever were to get rid of it, which I don't ever want to, it's probably worth 14, 13,
Yeah.
14. And then the last car, the Gazelle, that really crazy one that you were just talking about. Uh, oh my gosh. That car was listed up in Idaho, had one ugly off photo of the engine bay. It wasn't even like the whole car. It was just a photo of like the engine, but you could see on the outsides like what it kind of looked like.
Yeah.
And so I Googled it and I was like, oh, that car is sick. This is sweet. I haven't seen anything like this ever. And he had it listed for like 8 grand. We got there, that thing was barely even running. One of the tires is flat, like barely starting. Took us like 20 minutes to even get it going. And then I drove it literally like 50 yards and it died on us. And like, and I come back and I'm negotiating with the guy and he's like, yeah, I want 8K for it. It's a super rare car. I put in all this work, boom, 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 boom. And ended up talking him down to like 4 grand for it, which we then had to put in a few thousand to get the engine all sorted out.
Mhm.
But yeah, that car is probably worth 8 or 9 thousand. So even if everything went completely underwater, like tomorrow, we'll get all of our money out and another 20%, which that to me is kind of the most like I'm stoked and thrilled about that. And I
Yeah.
think I think if you do a business correctly and fail fast and like try and mitigate what your potential downside is, it's a win. Like when I hear people that are like, I'm gonna do an AI startup and they start with spending like 1,000 credits on Claude or like $1,000 on Claude, I'm like, that's gone. That is sunk.
Yeah.
Zero. You have no recovery on that at all. Which there's a time and place. I'm not saying it's a bad idea. I'm just saying when you're like just toying with something new, trying to get in for as little risk or like
Yeah.
even if it's a big capital expense, like it's a lot of money to buy these cars, buying them in a way that doesn't jeopardize like long-term financial freedom. It's like a very important thing when you're starting a business.
Oh, it's funny.
Okay, enough about that. Sorry, I was like a big tangent, but
No, that's great. That's what we're looking for. That's awesome, dude. That is one great thing about your business, and even my business is like there's this appreciating asset that even when we're not doing work for the actual business itself, there's this other thing in the background that's kind of growing and you can possibly sell in the future if that's something that interested you. Um,
exactly.
So that's great. Um, Anything else that you were kind of was crazy in the business, or anything else that you were like, man, like I'm so glad that I started this thing, or just the future plans?
I mean, dude, it's just like there are so many funny things that happen when you're an entrepreneur.
Oh, yeah.
Like, I think the funniest story I can give you is probably a booking I did like 3 weeks ago that made us realize we need to buy real GPS things. It's like in our contract that says that we track the cars. All I've ever done is throw an air tag in it and call it good. Like I'm like, it's fine. I'll be able to find the car. So I do this booking. It's like a super bougie venue. And I sent them the pin for the parking lot that they were going to meet me at so I could pick up the car. The window goes by. They're like, we're going to arrive at 10:15. It's like 10:23. They're not there. I saw a fire engine go flying in past towards the venue. I thought maybe the car exploded. It didn't. It's fine. But like 90 seconds later, I get a text and it's like, hey, just dropped off the car. It was amazing. Thank you so much. And I'm sitting there and I'm like, oh, I don't see a
Yeah.
car anywhere. And so it's like a really tight venue and I can't bring my truck and trailer in. And it's like a mile away, but it's like a far enough mile that I really can't bring my car in. It's too narrow. It's too unknown. So I'm like, okay, I'm just going to go for a little walk. They probably sent it back to the venue. So I walk a mile in. I talk to the planner. I'm like, hey, where's the car? And she's like, oh my gosh, they drove off in it. I don't know. I told them to go to the entrance of the canyon where you said it would be. So I'm like, okay. So I pull up the AirTag, hasn't updated in 45 minutes. I'm standing where it says it is. I'm like, no car here. I kid you not. I get my 5K on and I start jogging every side street up Cottonwood Canyon
Oh
looking
boy.
for this car for an hour. Because I'm not going to call the groom, hey, bro, whole first time banging's going crazy right now. Where's my car? Like that. I'm not going to
Yeah.
hit that. Wedding planner has no idea. And so I'm running up and down this canyon, checking every street for the car. I'm dripping sweat. I'm like probably 6 miles in. I'm like running for 40, 50 minutes. And finally the AirTag updates. And it's like like 2 miles further up the
Oh my
canyon
gosh.
than where I had already checked. And I'm like, that was not even where we agreed we were going to park the car. Insurance wasn't even clear to drive it there. Like, holy cannoli. And I look at there's like a big parking lot so I can pull my truck in and like eventually I load it. But I was like, man, only as like an entrepreneur am I going to find myself on a Saturday night at 11 p.m. running freaking 6 miles looking for a car. Like, there's funny things that happen when you throw yourself in the deep end.
Yeah, that's awesome. I wish my stories happened outside of my office, but yeah, every single one of my funny stories is all just like me at the computer. So it's a little less exciting than that. I am a little curious, like if we can kind of go back in time a little bit before the business, before, because you're also a student. I want to hear kind of about your upbringing. Obviously, we grew up in a similar area, but for people who aren't from here, what is kind of your upbringing like here in Utah?
Yeah, I mean, I like to think that I have quite a gangster upbringing, but that's just not the case. I live in a gated community, like it's just kind of what it is. But yeah, my upbringing, with especially in terms of business, was very unique.
Mm.
My dad, he has a background, and like that's so cringe. White boy sitting here telling you about his dad's financial background, yada yada. It gets a little better, but he had a background in finance and in all of that world, and especially business. And so, as I'm like 8 years old, 10 years old, we're sitting in front of the living room TV. He's pointing up at Shark Tank, and some guy's like, I want $800,000 for 3% of the business." And my dad looks at me and he's like, "Is this a good deal or not?" And I'm like, frick, dude, I don't even know my times tables yet. Like, what are we yapping about?
Yeah.
And so my whole life, it's always been very transactional for understanding a business.
Mm.
When I was 15, I was put in charge of basically managing an indoor soccer facility. I was client facing. I did the contracts. I negotiated the time slots of when people were going to play. I found the teams to come run the league. I paid the
Wow.
refs. Like, it was way out of my pay grade, but it was just because I'd done so many things like that in my life. I was always kind of ready to step into a more business type role. It's always sort of
Hmm.
spoke to me a lot. And then even before I served a 2 year mission for the LDS church, I just kind of started and grew a landscaping business. just out of nowhere, I said, I'm going to figure out how to do this. I we did, a few like spring cleanup jobs, and I realized that all the money was in sprinklers. So I walked into sprinkler world, and I said, "Mr. Manager, where are you? I will give you $200 if you'll give me like a 30-minute crash course on how to do sprinklers."
Huh.
And he stayed after work. I was at there at 5:30 because they close at 5. And he just walked me through like, okay, this is the sprinkler for this. This is what wires to this. This is where it all connects. 30-minute crash course. Did like an online certification for like Rainbird and Orbit, and I was cooking. And we were doing sprinkler jobs the rest of the summer, and it was like a fantastic thing. And so I just really like being entrepreneurial and finding value where people, I don't know, historically don't grab the low hanging fruit as I like to see it.
Yeah.
And I just think business, at least for me, is really fun to try and get the system up and running, especially when people don't really believe in it.
Yeah, for sure. I'm curious because I think that a lot of entrepreneurs, definitely this is the case in my family, they come from a background of either their mom or their dad, they had uncles, grandparents where they were entrepreneurs, and that was something that was very much, there was a lot of value placed into owning your own business in the home. Would you say that was the case for you?
Yeah. I mean, my dad beat into me from day one that the only way to really get true wealth is to either slave away at some high level institution for 40 years
Yeah.
or to build something and make it actually valuable. And
Yeah.
so from day one, I was always pretty adept to the idea of, okay, I'm going to be doing something. I don't think I'm going to be retiring my wife and kids on a classic car rental business. I can get into that later. Happy to talk the numbers, but it is a fun start to just kind of see where it goes. And I think everyone who is really looking at what they want to do in life, doing a business, whether it's you purchase it or you become a partner or an operator or something in that realm, at least in my mind, is the easiest way to kind of get out of the 9 to 5, whatever
Yeah.
you want to call it. But yeah, that is definitely a very important part.
Yeah, this is a little bit interesting and definitely like rings some bells for me because I've had similar to you some really really random businesses. Like looking back, I mean, I've made games, I've sold catfish bait, I have the YouTube channel, like just these random things where I think a lot of entrepreneurs, good ones anyway, are able to see gaps in the market where they might be able to slide in and make something happen. Was this something in your car rental business that it was like that you looked around and said, hey, I could do this better than these other guys? Or was it more just, I like old cars, I want to buy some, let me rent them out?
Yeah, no, no, no. So every old guy in their garage loves the idea, let me buy a car and rent it out. Doesn't work very well. It's just not that reliable. It's not that feasible. Car might not start, whatever, right? At least for me, that when it kind of really clicked of when I knew like, okay, hey, we're actually gonna really give this a go and sink our teeth into it was we were toying with the idea of renting that green car. I'm sure you'll show a picture of it earlier.
Yeah.
But it wasn't ever concrete. Like we didn't book anything, we didn't set up a website, we didn't even talk pricing. But after I crashed that car, it was 2 weeks before my wedding. I was like, well, crap, dude. I want to drive. I want to drive a cool car at my wedding. It's the one thing I wanted. I'd never even seen the venue. I didn't even
Oh,
know where the catering was from. My
yeah.
wife bought the suit. She just took the one that fit me and went and picked out a new color. I don't know. I didn't do anything. I just
Yeah.
wanted the car. And so I looked. I got the two quotes from the two other people that did it in Utah, and it was like $3,500 to
Wow.
drive the car for a night, and then the other one never even got back to me. And I was like, this is absurd. You're quoting me $3,500 to have this car for a day. The car's worth 9 grand. Like, it's not that
Yeah.
expensive of a car. And so that literally 6 days before my wedding came across an estate sale for our first car, which was our Mercedes 380 SL. It's the one I used at my own wedding. But I bought it, sent it over to the shop, had all the engine repairs done, got it back 12 hours before my wedding, drove it off of my wedding. Loved it. I was in that car total like $5,400.
Gangster.
And so I was like, okay, so at just a little less than 2x what I got quoted, I bought this car. So if
Yeah.
I can rent it at a reasonable price, surely there's demand because the website's huge. They have blah blah
Yeah.
blah. This our one competitor that's kind of really big in the area. Like they have no competition. No one's coming after them. Like surely they're getting a little a little greedy and a little fat in their time. And I
Yeah.
was like, hey, we're going to go to war. And that was kind of where it really started because I was just so infuriated with how ridiculous that price was.
Yeah. That's great. I love hearing when people, because I had a similar experience where I was looking around my job and I was like, you know, not that I know better or can, know everything that these guys know on day one, but I know that I can be a better customer service representative than them. I know I can treat my employees better. So I love that looking around and saying, yeah, I can do better than this. Um, that's great. So you're also a student, which I think is a little peculiar. I want to hear about not just the difficulties of like running the business and being a full-time student. Obviously, you're out for summer right now. Um, but I also want to hear about other classmates' perspectives. Like, are there any, I don't want to say haters, but maybe doubters or what's going on with that realm?
Yeah, I mean, I'll give you two perspectives. So my biggest hater was my dad, off the rip, which was so funny, right? Like he's like Mr. Entrepreneur, always pushing this. When I told him I was like, "Yeah, I'm starting a classic car rental business," he was like, "You're out of your damn mind. What are you doing?" He's like, "There's no money in rental cars. This is a huge waste of time." He hated the idea that I even had a business partner. Like he
Uh,
thought it was just the dumbest thing ever. And then cherry on top, granted, I don't know how much you know about like finance recruiting, but I was recruiting for investment banking. So like
mhm.
in the middle of like writing our operating agreement and like putting up the website and getting our first clients and all of that, I'm like flying to Chicago and LA and New York for these interviews on like the 57th floor that I've been prepping for a
Yeah.
year. And my
Yeah.
dad's like, why in the world are you wasting 15 hours a week starting a car rental business when you have these like world class interviews that you need to knock out of the park? Which I'm grateful. I landed a really good spot in LA. I'm happy it all turned out. But he
Mhm.
was kind of right. It was not a good idea. But in terms of like classmate haters, everyone loves cars, dude. If I've learned anything, no one gets mad at a classic car ever being
Yeah.
parked anywhere or they think it's cool. Like I've never had anyone in that realm think it was a dumb idea.
Yeah. That's funny that your dad was your biggest hater per se. Is obviously coming from a place of love, but yeah, that idea that yeah, there's no money in this.
Well,
I had almost opposite experience where my parents were almost pushing me to do something that was dumb. Like, yeah, I'd been shopping around to possibly join as a partnership in a couple of different places, and my parents were like, "You should just go do it yourself." Now I ended up getting a partner at the end of the day, but yeah, that's funny. That was that whole thing, and the IB recruiting, I'm sure was insane. I mean, IB in public accounting, IB would definitely be crazier recruiting, and I didn't even do public accounting recruiting because I was just like, I just don't want to. I ended up at PwC, thankfully, but yeah, that's crazy. So as far as I know, you said you're not going to retire your family or your kids on this classic car rental business, but is there any business that you're like, well, I think that one interests me a little bit?
No,
No.
no. It's like my family has created like, or at least my dad. His things that have done him really well are he started like a supplement company that sells direct to doctors,
Hmm.
which he has no background in medicine, no background in medical world, nothing. Just saw it was a good opportunity and just kind of went with it, and it did well.
Yeah.
Other thing was a preschool. He
Really?
started he started that when my his youngest daughter was like 14. Why is he building a
Wow.
preschool? There was just not one in the area that was good, and it would just kind of went for it. And so for me, it's like it's a lot less of like, what do I want to do? What do I think would do well? No care, no opinion. I
Yeah.
just want whatever I do end up choosing at the end of the day in 4 or 5 years from now that okay, it will do well, whatever it is. So
Yeah.
that's kind of a lame answer, but that is the truth.
No, I think that's a good perspective to have. And honestly, it's easier to get into businesses that aren't sexy, you know. If we're just being completely honest,
Hey,
like,
married men like us, yes, for sure.
yeah, yeah. I mean, there's a lot of people that want to be Twitch streamers, less people that want to be tax accountants. And yeah, so I don't know. I think sometimes these businesses are areas of content that less people want to do. It's just easier, just by nature of the amount of people doing it.
Very true.
I do want to ask you on a business level and on a personal level, how do you feel about AI and using AI?
AI is interesting. So it's actually a unique thing that you bring this up. So one other major driver for kind of why I pushed hard for this business is something I wanted in my just kind of life portfolio was I love AI. I'm bullish on AI. I have the Claude Pro. I've maxed out my weekly usage the last 4 or 5 weeks in a row. Like I'm a user. I get it. I'm there. All about it. I wanted a business that AI could never touch because
Hmm.
I do have that fear that like at one point, it's going to be the only businesses left are going to be experience based, human facing,
Yeah.
and asset based businesses. That AI just you can't replicate a farm, you can't
Hmm.
replicate a roller skating rink. Those types of businesses that really facilitate through human interaction and human understanding. And so in my mind, I was like, okay, I'm going to start a car rental business. There's no way AI is touching my 1982 Mercedes. I don't even know how that would be possible. I can't even plug in a GPS tracker. It doesn't have the modern plugs on
Yeah.
it. And so it's like that was kind of where I went with it. Love AI. I think it's awesome. I think people should learn how to use it. I do think it doesn't replace human actual connection and interaction, which I think a lot of people don't weigh as much when they should.
Yeah. Yeah. I agree a lot with you. On more of a personal side, like, do you feel like we're becoming dumber as as a
Oh,
society and as a
absolutely.
species?
Oh my gosh. Yeah, you can go read the studies. I mean, it's like 75% of fifth graders are already using AI to do their homework. Like the reading level comprehension of the average sixth grader is that of like a first grader right now. They can't even understand what is even in front of them. Me and my wife, we've already talked about like my kid's never seeing an iPad until the eighth grade.
Yeah.
And, and it's only going to come preloaded with Clash of Clans, and that's about it. Like, that's all they're going to get. And so it's like,
Lord app.
yeah, right. It's I think AI can become a crutch for people. I've seen it especially like I do work in finance. I have a couple of roles that I consult on with that, and people get not to like discriminate on age, but like especially the older generation, they open Chat GPT for the first time and they put in their $20 and they're like, holy crap, it just drew up a huge model of how we're gonna make $1 million this month. And
And
I'm
it's
like,
all wrong.
brother, like you just read a Reddit post from Wall Street Bets. Like, come on. Like,
Oh.
it's I think it's very useful and a very real tool, but I think people do overhype it, and you just got to learn to balance it in the middle.
Yeah. Yeah, definitely. I want to ask you a little bit more again on a personal, interesting, non-business question. Um, Recently, I've gotten back into drawing. I've gotten back into watercolor. Have you do you ever make art? Do you ever think about art? Like, what's your relationship with that?
Oh my gosh, you're gonna hate me, dude. I'm so bad at art. I will never.
No, see,
I
I hate when you can't start with that though. You can't start with I suck at art. I'm not good at it. That's not what it's about.
but I do, and I do suck, and that's just like, and I say that not in a sense of like I'm trying to cop out. I so like in grade school, I went to after school drawing classes. I went to after school ceramics classes. All of my like you hang out with the neighbor down the street
Mhm.
when you're like 15 or whatever. Like they were all like art people, and it just was not ever really my thing.
Yeah.
But I do think in terms of like reconnecting with yourself, there are a lot of ways to do that. I've recently been playing a lot of competitive Magic the Gathering, which is kind of
Okay.
really cringe, but like I think that's maybe the track you're going down,
Hmm.
just like finding whatever is kind of your thing. For me, it's just not art. I
Yeah.
married an artsy person, that's why, and that's okay.
Yeah. No, that's great. I would love to hear more about Magic the Gathering. I have a lot of brother-in-laws who are very into it, and I've played a couple games with them. And I think that they let me win one of them. I was playing, it's called like a Dragon's deck or something. Um, Does that ring a bell at all? Am I?
Were you playing Commander? It was like you had your one boss guy that you could like bring out, and then it was
Yep,
like
I had
four
I had a
people.
commander. I would recognize him if I saw him. He was definitely flying, and there was some one of his abilities triggered when a dragon entered the battlefield or something like that.
Mm. I'm not quite that into it,
Okay,
but
okay, okay, okay.
no,
Uh-huh.
I am. The version I play is the one that's like you open fresh packs, and so it's pretty even. Mostly because I
Oh,
think the
okay.
ridiculousness of buying $1,000 deck to play competitively is kind of redonkulous. It's
Yeah.
not my thing. But I think it's for me it's really fun. I mean, I'll show up to the card shop and I'm alone. I don't know anyone there, and I find it very fun to walk out, third, fourth, second place. I've never gotten first on anything. From like a 60-person tournament. Like
Wow.
and I have very little experience and whatever, and it's like I think it's right here. Yeah, yeah. This was like a regional qualifier tournament where like if you win this, you get to go play in LA. And I got eighth place. So I was like a couple places off from actually, pulling it off, but I got a prize pool that paid for my next like 2 months of playing, and it was a good time. And
Dude, that's
I think
awesome.
whatever your outlet is, do it.
Yeah, that's really great. Huh. What like this is this might be a little interesting question, but do you feel like there's any games that maybe helped wire your brain in a way where you picked up magic pretty easily?
Oh man, dude. I I'm just a systems guy, and I'm
Mm.
very good at seeing like when things give me like 2 seconds to find the words correctly. I can kind of like see the predictive outcome of how things are moving pretty early in a game. So like I don't know if you've ever played like Dominion or Star Realm,
Okay.
or I guess like a more classic example would be like Settlers of Catan. When you
Okay.
can
Yeah.
kind of see like, okay, I can see what the board state is looking like and just be able to really see how that plays out in the future if it continues on the route that it's on. I think in particular with the car rental business, that has helped me
Mm.
tremendously. Just be able to see like, okay, where are we actually going to grow? How do we scale this thing? Where do we
Yeah.
get known? And we've done a lot of really unique things with photographers, with
Hmm.
wedding vendors, specifically venues as well. We've made some very unique, unorthodox connections to try and really insert ourselves just because I see kind of my brain naturally thinks a year, 5 years down the line. It's very not today centric,
Yeah.
which is helpful. But I think that's why I love those types of games that really play out, in terms of a momentum base as opposed to like
Yeah.
it's Uno, you're just going to play your card.
Yeah. Did you ever play Slay the Spire or like Monster Train?
Slay the Spire, fantastic game. Exactly the thing I'm trying to explain of like seeing what the momentum is looking like and how
Mm.
you can change your momentum to actually win the game.
Yeah. Yeah, that reminds me a lot of
Are you
that.
a gamer? Is that what you are?
I do play, yeah, I do play a fair bit of games. So, dude, I mean, back in the day, I would play a lot of Overwatch. So I played a lot of Overwatch. I
I do have
less
a golden
now.
Brigida.
What was that?
I do have a golden Brigida mace.
Oh, you do? All right,
Hmm.
yeah. Why not? That's an odd choice for a character. You a support main or something, or
Yeah, just because I'm terrible at aim, so the mace is pretty easy to hit people
that's
with.
why I play Ryan. I mean, I probably have 300 hours on Reinhardt alone, and that's not
Brother.
that's not hyperbole. That's like because he is like pretty much the only guy I play. Um, but yeah, I mean, too. I like to make games too. That's something I enjoy. So I enjoy just trying different games and kind of seeing how they work. But a lot like you, really enjoy the systems. I don't know if you ever played Civilization like 6.
Yup.
Such a
Yeah,
good
dude.
game. Such a
Yes.
good game. Who was your Civ that you would play as?
Dude, I like the Vikings.
Okay, dude, that's crazy because they're ass, in my
They
opinion.
are. They're so bad.
They are not good.
But they're fun. They look
Yeah.
cool.
What is that? Harold Hadrada?
Dude, it's been a couple of years. I don't know if I give you the specifics, but
Okay.
it's a good time. I do still watch a little bit on YouTube here and there.
It's a shame that the new one just sucked. Like, just was
Yeah.
bad.
That's what everyone said. I don't know. Kind of didn't get back into it like post finance stuff, but it's
Yeah.
fun though.
Fair enough. I was always a Germany guy. I had to play the German guy because they were probably the best, one of the best civs in the game. Well, Sam, it was awesome having you on. I really appreciated you being our first guest ever. You killed it. I mean, I really didn't have to pry you at all to get the stuff that I was looking for, and some definitely good nuggets in there. I'm sure people will enjoy this episode. So,
Well, I hope you got everything you wanted out of it. So I'm
yeah,
excited.
most certainly. Well, guys, again, if you are interested in seeing anything from Heritage Fleet, I'll link their socials and their website down in the description, as well as Sam's Instagram. So thank you again, Sam, and you have a great day.